Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different. If you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So High Priestess here, you guys are going to have a video come out today, so definitely keep an eye out for it. This video is going to be going into a little bit of an energy dynamic deep dive on the topic of resonance. So if you are interested in that, channel memberships are always in the description box below. So let's go ahead and let's begin. Taking a step aside. And allowing Spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Just heard kind smile. What is that about? Kind smile. I feel like there's a different energy field coming in here. This is interesting. Okay, kind smile. There's something here. Oh, that's very interesting. So inside the video for the High Priestess here, one of the things I talk about is being the key that fits a particular type of door. There's something here that's going on within a person's energy system where it's like there's a restructuring that's taking place of your resonance or of your own personal vibration, and it's all because of something that has recently happened here. I don't think that this necessarily means forgiveness for everybody. However, I do think the majority of you that this reading is going to be for, there may have been a moment of going in and forgiving certain situations or certain people from the past. But I almost feel that this is somebody forgiving themselves. Okay, it's like you didn't have to do your best. You didn't have to be perfect. You didn't have to, fill in the blank. And so in that way, maybe for you it entailed forgiveness, but others of you it was more like just easing up on yourself. And by doing this, it's like we're restructuring something that's allowing us to have a different experience because we're not blocking ourselves. When we have that seriousness of self, that really does constitute a block, even if you're the type of person that works best under that seriousness. When we're too serious, we're constricting the energy flow. And so there's something here about an opening up of that energy flow after that constriction is over. I'm reading more so the snowflake image in this card than I am the actual idea of winter. I think winter time is going to be important for whoever this message is for. There is this sense of coming home. And so there's something that we've implemented recently, whether it's a practice or maybe replugging in with a family group or a social group of some kind. There's something about coming home that's coming into this energy as well. For some of you, this is plugging into a particular field. So, for example, maybe you had been a writer and you're getting back into writing, or maybe you are somebody who you're getting back to your craft. Maybe you're someone who is used to working with spirits and you're working with spirits for the first time in a very long time. There's this crescent moon that's showing up, which is indicating to me that the recent new moon may have been very important to this process. Okay, if you're watching this at a time other than when I'm posting it, these are timeless messages, so go back to the new moon prior to you watching this video, and there's going to be something very important that happened around that new moon that's probably kind of actualizing these energies for you at the time that you're watching it. There is a heavy spirit element to this reading, I have to say. So I do think that for a lot of you, there may be something going on with a particular spirit, whether it's a crossover loved one, an ancestor, maybe even deity of some kind. And there's something here about a veil. So it's almost as though feeling cut off for a certain amount of time, and then that veil is being lifted, beginning with that last new moon. Now, with this card Sensuality, it's interesting. So I recently saw another reader pull this exact same card, and they were trying to stay away from the sexuality aspect of sensuality, but then they just kept landing there. So when we talk, which I thought was really cute, because it's so ingrained in us, But when we talk about sensuality, we're really talking about the enjoyment of the senses, right? Sensuality. And so some of you, you're really immersing yourself in your exploration of your senses. Maybe you are repainting a room, right? Maybe you're allowing yourself to redecorate something. Maybe you're setting up a space for yourself, especially because the heavy element of spirit, maybe a meditation space or a spiritual practice space. When we talk about this sensuality, it's this deep enjoyment and bliss that comes from the enjoyment of the senses. Oftentimes we associate it with touch, but it can be smell, it can be sound, it can be taste. So there's this unfolding of our ability to enjoy those things, which really define us as humans, right? It's one of the things that sets us apart from the spiritual world, is that we have these senses through which to experience. And there's so many stories across different cultures about how spirits like hijacked a body, or they wanted to be born so that they could have those experiences. And it's something that we often take for granted, especially if we're busy kind of spiritually bypassing or trying to run away from things here on planet Earth. So I think that someone here, it's like part of the mercy that you're giving yourself is allowing yourself to indulge a little bit. For some of you, this may be sensuality in the way that everyone takes it. You know, it may be more sexual in nature for some of you. And all these things are these beautiful energies to be able to explore and to experience while we're here. And this causes an unfolding of the personal being, right? I think that a lot of times we think that we have to cut ourselves off from all kinds of pleasure in order to find the sacredness within, when the sacredness of being here is enwrapped in those things. And right now someone is in a phase of their life where the lesson or the experience is all about the sacredness of being here. I almost feel that I'm speaking to someone who has like one foot on the other side. And so you may be involved in healing work deeply, or you may practice shamanism in its sense of being like a mediator for spirit, and maybe even like a little bit of a spiritual psychologist in that way. There may even be this magician element to this for those of you who practice magic. Maybe you're just somebody who is very spiritual and even religious for some of you. And right now it seems like we're coming into a space where we're enjoying the body. We're enjoying what the body is providing us because the body is the temple, right? So we have to enjoy the body as well when we're honoring the divine, because to basically deny the body completely is to deny the temple of the divine. And this is an energy that I feel is where someone is in their acceptance of self and their forgiveness of, for some of you, it may be a forgiveness for an addiction. That's kind of coming through very strongly right now. This is an energy where it's like we're allowing ourselves to restructure our energy system, and we're allowing ourselves to restructure certain opportunities that are on their way to us, because we're kind of like moving our energy. We're shifting our resonance, right? So our resonance is highly dictated by our beliefs. And so by allowing ourselves to open up those beliefs and not be as harsh on ourselves and allow ourselves to enjoy things that maybe previously we thought we couldn't enjoy in order to be our sacred selves, we're understanding that it's all sacred. And that distinction of separateness that we create as human beings tends to be the very thing that keeps us trapped in certain ideologies, in certain patterns, in certain limitations. And by accepting those things and allowing ourselves to have pleasure inside of life, this is lifting someone's vibration. It's changing the belief system and lifting someone's vibration. So this is very beautiful energy. Okay, let's see. For some people, this could go a different way, where it's almost like for the first time I'm working out, or for the first time I'm understanding how to move my body. Okay, so I'm definitely getting vibes of like dance classes here for someone. And this heavy moon energy that's coming through, I love that, because that doesn't always show up in my readings. We've had a lot of solar energy showing up recently, a lot of like the masculine solar. And here we have very heavy on the feminine, right? Very heavy feminine lunar with the inner winter, right? When the sun is at its lowest, this very intuitive, feminine, sensual energy that's kind of moving through the collective. This is an energy where it's like our intuitive faculties may be opening up right now. We're getting in touch with beauty, possibly beauty in nature. And There's this, what is this? It's like a release of some sort of survival mode that someone has been in. And I think that this is a long time in coming. You know, that survival mode, sometimes when we have that survival mode, one of the things that we do is we focus and we buckle down on like our material, you know, our home or our work and all of that. But there's the opposite end too, where part of a survival mode is an escapism. And I almost feel that someone is learning to like ground themselves and be more present in their body, whether, no matter which extreme was taken. It's like a release of this survival mechanism so that someone can simply just be and relax and enjoy. And notice how this looks like a temple. And so it's almost as though we've had this restructuring and it's continuing to restructure. We're moving out of this space of spirit, starting and even connecting with spirit in a different way, starting with the new moon. And then it's slowly moving through this energy of the sensuality of the senses, honoring the temple, and that this is a rite of passage into, okay? Oh, and the answer is unknown. We have no wait, postpone. So, and notice how this pyramid, this dark pyramid in the background is being mirrored over here. So it's this energy that there's something coming. It's something that we aren't necessarily privy to just yet, possibly because the actual thing hasn't been created by us. But also because it's almost like in order to truly enjoy the moment, we can't know. But all we need to know is that we have to go through this phase. We have to explore these things in order to be prepared for whatever it is that rests on the other side. So this is quite possibly a transition period for someone. Where you are now is not where you will end up. And you probably really know that. Okay. Being told to move this. Okay, why? Interesting. Okay, so I'm noticing that in the screen, if I move it, I don't see those words and I see this image. So I think I'm supposed to read this image now. A very interesting thing about this is when we have these two here, it's almost making me think of sentinels. And on the other side, we have this storm. And the steps lead into the storm. We also have this storm that's happening around this image of this initiation gateway. Again, we have the pillars showing up and we have the pillars here. So it's almost as though and I'm noticing the treasures and the snakes and things. So it's like there's something here that's transforming or being shed. Again, that survival element is being shed. The storm doesn't necessarily feel dangerous to me in this sense. It feels replenishing. And one thing about ozone is it really eliminates odor. It can eliminate life, right? If you have ever had an ozone machine and you set it off someplace, everything dies. So it's almost as though where we're going, there's things in our life that can't come with us. And this is a space where it's like, I almost see it like sitting in a bubble bath and letting like the impurities be pulled away. This is a transition period where in this releasing of this survival mechanism or the survival mode, there's a lot of beliefs and a lot of feelings and a lot of energies from the past that's going to untangle. I'm willing to bet that whoever this message is for, that there's been a lot of emotional purging taking place here. And for some of you, it might be like physical purging of some kind, as you like release toxins and you kind of move the energies out of your body. There's this sort of feeling that where we're going, those impurities can't go. And so now it makes sense to me why I did a High Priestess video today on resonance. This is definitely hitting that heavily, because it's like we have to become the signature that fits a particular frame, or we have to be the key that fits a particular door. And right now you're being molded into that shape by certain things processing out, by immersing into your body and into your 3D experience and enjoying pleasure, enjoying senses, enjoying taste, touch, smell, sound. Some of you are really hitting some sound baths here, especially with the way that the roses are around this. It's almost looking like sound bouncing off of a person. The immersion of color is another big one. I think that someone out here, you're probably surrounding yourself with a particular color that that symbolizes something that you're trying to attract, especially if it's pink or red of some kind. That's really what I'm feeling. There's also a lot of blue that's showing up inside this reading as well. Now, I do feel that for some of you, there's a little bit like an invitation that we're taking here in inviting certain spirits to come with us, certain energies to work with us in this space. And it's almost like we're unequipping the things that can't come with us, and we're equipping ourselves with the things that we're going to need for the future journey. And what that journey is, we still don't know. That's not something that's becoming clear just yet. But whatever it is, it does feel big. And it feels very big because of the pyramid that's in the background. There's a lot of symbolism wrapped up in the pyramid. So that might be very important for somebody to look up in terms of, the size of the pyramids, the like esoteric meaning behind the shapes of pyramids. There may be something in there for someone. Let's see. There's also something here about the way that the land builds on top of itself. It's like the different eras, the way that things erode. I think that there's a lot of, again, going back to the idea of processing. When we look at the land and we look at the different ages that it's passed through, it's like there's different layers, right? Different sediment layers. And I feel that someone's going through their different sediment layers inside of their emotional body and really processing those things at this time. Time has a way of making things settle, but then at some point it's like those things have to purge from us. So I think that that is a process that someone's definitely going through here. Okay. One card. Okay. Yep. Notice all the lightning. Lightning may be very important. Really study lightning also, because it may say some things to you in regards of this. If you are somebody who's resonating with this reading, if you study the properties of lightning, study exactly what lightning's comprised of, the importance of lightning, even going into the idea of plasma might be very interesting. It's like there's something here that's being brought down, right? When we have the tower, it's the structures that have solidified. Now it's time for them to basically be released. Again, it's a lot of release is taking place inside of this interim phase for somebody before they move on to the next thing, because wherever you're going, it's like it can't come with you. I don't feel that this is necessarily 3D wise. Oh, for some of you, obviously, it's going to be. I feel mostly for a lot of you, this is very internal, especially with these cards being the cards that we started with. And there may be a change in the body that has to take place, right? Whether this is taking care of our health, changing the way that we eat, going and working out. There's something here about our bodies that it seems like we're confronting in some way. Let's see. I think that's it. I feel like the energy just kind of stopped there. So I'm going to leave this here. And if this resonates for you, please hit that like button. Feel free to leave me a comment. And until next time.